Logic, the demon-slaying rogue, and Zartet, the druid of Goodberry Farms. And give me 1 second. Let's see if our stream is actually live.
Get these chatters.
It takes 30 seconds usually.
Yeah.
It's live.
It's live as hell. All right, hold on. Where's my fucking Earl? That's what I'm looking for right here. Yeah, I don't know where in YouTube Studio you can get it to fucking spit out the
I think
URL.
it cut off the start.
Nah. Oh, that's fine. Okay, cool. So I've got a video.
Yeah, you
URL.
started off with Logic. You missed, I guess.
Okay, well, I'll reintroduce everybody.
Nice.
All right, so let me set a topic. I can't believe that we have survived 11 adventures so far. I thought everybody would be dead by now. But you're too fucking crafty for your own good. All right, so let me let people know in firm chats. Shoutouts to Int80 right there. Shoutouts to Llamas on Liberia. And then where else do I fucking let people know? Shout out to also Not Math on Liberia. I like those guys. They're very mathematical right there. And I also let the JRE incident know. The Alec Baldwin... Oh, shit. Ali Shafir has something about the whole Alec Baldwin deal. All right, and then I think we're back and ready for action. Okay, so thank you for everybody for your patience and so forth. We were a little bit late this evening. So I want to introduce a stunning crew of rogues right here. We've got Angie, their ranger extraordinaire, and her companion bear, Fisk. And then we have Kuntz, the magician and bearer of the enchanted crotch goblet. Logic, the demon slayer, and Zartet, the druid and proprietor of Goodberry Farms. Hell yeah. Okay, and we start off I'm ZachZYZ, the DM. You can visit ZachZYZ.com for my amazing books. Woo! A 6 novel just out right there. And for shirts and pictures and so forth. We're about to post up a bunch of pictures of people's dogs and cats. It's going to be glorious. Anyhow, so every week we open with a retelling of our last few chapters by Zartet the Druid, our master archivist. So if you would, sir.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. So previous to our last session, we had explored around a bootlegger's hidden cave and got some loot, rested up, and we were on our way south. We rest overnight in Unarigan's lair and leave in the morning. The morning is still and like before, signs of life or otherwise are quiet. No sounds but for the babbling of the river. However, as we ascend further upriver, it is apparent that life is returning. Once there was blight, there is now only a gray ash left behind. Angie and Logic scout ahead and don't find any signs of weirdness. They see fish in the clear, cool water and also take notes of plumes of smoke coming from the walls behind Vor Brink a few miles away. The walls are still upright, so it just seems to be the campfires of whoever has taken over the city. We contemplate the various paths before us, proceed to the dangerous overtaken city of Vor Brink, head south along the coast to Saradil to try and meet with a crocodile warrior clan, or follow the fork and the Firebelly River south into the mountains where there's a pilgrimage site for the Lady of the Laughing Star. We decide to locate the source of this clean water. In this part of the wilderness, it's very dangerous. Ivy forest, is the very dangerous ivy forest, which is festooned with poisonous plants and vines. It's virtually untouched because of this. Overhead, we see a pair of lingering eagles flying above. There has been some blight in the area. However, the same gray dust appears where it once was, and tendrils of new growth are starting to peek through, like we've seen nowhere else before since this all started. Zartet inspects the gray dust, and it's very obviously toxic. At Triangle Rock, we come to where the Firebelly River forks north with the Metris River going south into the mountains towards what we know as Crystal Lake. The eagles again appear and are headed up towards the lake as well. We followed them up along the river and come upon an idyllic glade amongst the foothills. Around the lake are 7 stone altars where people have left little figurines of the laughing star around the statues in tribute, as well as animal and people tracks, notably the tracks of a bear. The eagles swoop into the lake and come up with the beautiful trout. From the lake is a stream feeding into an arched stone entryway into a cave. We feel at peace in this lake and take in the splendor. Zartet disrobes and enters the cold, deep lake. A tremendous sense of serenity comes over him, and he encourages everyone to jump in. Angie too gains this sense of serenity, but not really Logic and Kuntz, though Kuntz and Logic do notice that some minor cuts on them seem to have healed. All the while, the laughing star shines in the midday sun. Logic and Kuntz also relieve themselves in the lake after we fill our canteens. After our bath, we make our way to the white stone arch over the entryway to the cave where the stream originates. On the white stones are etchings of initials and other religious graffiti, and we leave our mark before entering. Zartet says a prayer of thanks, asking for guidance, and he leads everyone forward into the cave faithfully. Around the bend is a large, pure silver statue of the Lady of the Laughing Star holding an upended water jug in one hand, pouring water out of seemingly nowhere into the stream below, and in the other hand is a silver seed with a beam of light shining on it from overhead through a vent in the cave ceiling. Zartet has a religious epiphany at this moment, understanding that he's been drawn to this cave for this moment, and that all of the help we've received from the Laughing Star so far is not without a price, but somehow he knows this was meant to be. It's just not normal for gods to intervene in this way. Zartet plucks the warm, living seed from the statue's hand and understands what must be done. We leave the cave, set up camp, and cook a fine meal of grilled lake trout. Meanwhile, Angie sojourns into the forest at dusk to hunt for the bear whose tracks we saw earlier, taking with her one of the lake trout. Angie tracks it down to its cavern, and in the moonlight, she sees the bear. He's black with a silver stripe along his back. The bear rears up as she intrudes, but bravely she doesn't back down and lures him closer with the fish, which he eats. But he is not satiated and wants more fish, following Angie back to camp. And that is where we left off.
All right. Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Super proud. And fuck off, Jewbird. Really and truly. Like, I'm not bothering your stream. All right. Anyhow. You've set up a camp, and you're joined by your new animal companion, Fisk the bear, a giant and imposing bear. So well done there. All of you have set up camp at the fork where the Metris flows south and the Firebelly River flows to the north. Across from you is the poisonous forest of ivy, which most likely you, Angie, and Zartet could make your way through unscathed, but you would worry for the safety of your less forest-savvy companions, Logic and Kuntz. So at this point, a critical juncture and a decision must be made by the party. You could proceed back north towards Yanerigan's lair and head to the city of Vorabrink, and from there to the Darameus. You could also consider going south along the Metris River to Serrado to try and see what has become of the famed crocodile riders of the south and see if you can enlist their aid or if they know anything about the blight that has befallen the land. It is truly your choice which way to go. And you can also retreat as cowards. That's always an option.
Retreat!
Well, I'm now like imbued with a special purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So my mind's on, shortest possible route to the Darameus. And I believe there was some interest about Cyrodiil as well, to see if there was a shaman there or something like that we could speak to maybe, because I'm figuring we might need some help. It's not going to just be as easy as planting the seed.
The crocodile warriors of Serrado are famed throughout the land for their ferocity and their deep kinship with nature. But their respect is not easily earned.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a fucking bear.
You do
All right,
bear?
so
Will a bear convince them?
It's a cool
That
bear
is
too.
true.
It's not
Even
corrupted.
in a
bear, most
sort of
importantly.
diplomatic effort, the fact that they're so connected to nature, you know what I mean? And obviously you guys are as well. So there might be a diplomatic in as well.
Right. We'd have to sally forth to Cyrodiil, I believe, if everyone's in agreement with that.
Okay. So you opt to head south along the Metris River. And as you journey south, you notice that wherever you're close to the river, the waters that flow from the stream or the spring at Crystal Lake, flowing from the sacred vessel, everything seems to be set to right in the world. Nature is doing well. There are birds and animals and insects, and everything seems to be in its right place. But even when you get significantly south of the ivy forest, once you get, I'd say a few times you scout out logic and get as far as a quarter mile away from the river, while just trying to make sense of what's going on there. As soon as you get away from the river water, everyone is in trouble. So you proceed south along the river without any real encounters for a period. So you pass through several rapids and still pools, and along the way stop to catch fish and feed your very voracious companion, Fisk the bear. And it's getting into the early afternoon when you start to see the first signs that you're entering the territory of the Cyrodiil tribes there. You start to see trees where into the living wood grooves have been carved into the bark in the shapes of faces. And they do not just human faces, but also the countenances of foxes, of crocodiles, and even of bears. All sorts of animal figures, and they stack the images one on top of each other. And as you pass them in the river, you have the eerie sense that their eyes are following you. Some trick of the carving that makes it seem that they're always upon you there.
So they're like totems in the river.
They're a little bit like totems. You're not sure if they have like a religious significance or if they're a way of marking territory or so forth. But once you cross into this area, it's clear you are in the lands of Cyrodiil, where trespassers are generally not well thought of there. So at this point,
what's Fisk doing?
so Fist the bear seems enamored with Angie. He never strays far from her side. He's always willing to eat anything, really even things that you wouldn't expect that he'd eat leaves, just any kind of berry that he comes across and so forth. And many times, actually, on the way, he's quickest to sniff out some kind of foodstuff, like a beehive or
Nice.
mulberries. Really, just he's got a good nose on him, and it's always pointed towards food. But yeah, he seems.
And can I give him a good berry? Like feed him a good berry just to like.
So the bear, when presented with the good berry, just immediately gobbles it down, and then keeps nosing at your hand, trying to see if he can wheedle more berries out of you. But yeah, he's very happy to like chow down on a good berry or really any kind of food that you provide to him.
I give him like a little chin scratch.
Oh, he's very contented. Yeah, he just seems to like the party. In general, it's a very it's strange to see a bear that's so gregarious, but this one seems he's in the honeymoon phase of becoming a ranger's companion, where he just thinks that everything about the ranger is wonderful, and he likes all of her friends. But
nice,
and also, it's at the direction of a god. In any case. So you very wisely have opted to feed the bear a good berry, which serves as you know, as protection from blight, which is a very fantastic idea. because you won't be able to stay in this idyllic time on the Metris River forever.
Just to be a complete keener, where on the map are we? Like,
So-
are we heading to Chasm Keep that south?
Here, I got you.
Yeah, pull up the map if you could, Zartet. So Zartet is going to broadcast our map right here.
Yeah, let me do that. Where?
Okay. So cunts here. Let me watch Zartet's stream right here. Oh, this is fantastic. So there, we're gonna make public at some point all the IRC
Oh,
D&D notes that we've got here. But if we go to the map right here, so right now you guys are down there. So you're actually headed a little bit south there. So cunts here. Let me watch. Oh, now I'm
That's
fucking
terrible.
myself.
Let me pull up a better image
So
of
there,
this.
we're gonna make public. All right, so for whatever reason, I think because your stream is pulling in your desktop audio, it does whatever. So you're sort of, you see where the red line goes to right now, all along the bottom of that. Just consider it to be sort of jungle type area, and so that's the land of Cerrado. It's not a huge area. All right, let's watch the stream once more, and I'll shut up. Okay, exactly. So just south here, towards that point. And then there's Vora Brink, and then sort of along the coastline leads to the Daramaeus, which, as you guys know, is a big shoal bridge that at low tide can be crossed to Porta Moria, where most of the food that feeds the island of Moria comes from. In any case, so that's around where you're at there. So you're starting to see these totems in the area, and I need to know what order are you guys going forward in, and how are you proceeding down the river? Keeping in mind that one of the things about having a bear companion is it's no longer really possible to move silently. The bear makes a lot of noise. He's heavy, and often like there are birds and
Ow.
rabbits and stuff running out of your way because they can hear Big Fist coming.
Well, maybe. I don't know. This isn't really my element. I was thinking I could, be on the fringe as a scout out front. But this isn't really my element. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I'll do it. Especially if we have a distraction like Fisk. That will work in our favor. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe Angie should scout forward and if she could
does have
leave
the
just
bow.
behind. Well, she also has
The crossbow too, I think.
So the
She could
bear,
just move
at this
through
point, the
this
bear
area a
is
little
not
bit
especially
easier.
trained. I should just tell you, the bear does not like to get more than about 30 or 40 feet away from
Yeah, I
Angie.
think I'm fine.
And he's not especially well trained right now. You are in the period where he's just starting to learn the meaning of no and so forth. So there will be a period where, even though he's her companion, he's still a wild animal. So it's going to take a little time to get to the point where he can be told things like sit and stay and so forth.
She's a puppy.
Okay.
Then I
Well,
guess
then
you can-
I'll go ahead because I can
Okay.
move through this area pretty well.
Yeah, you know this area fairly well. And you visited Cerrado before, so you know a little bit about their customs and so forth. So let's see. The party proceeds down the river. Would you say that you're moving at normal speed, that you're moving carefully, or that you're moving quickly?
We're moving carefully.
Okay. So you make it down the river, going carefully, and along the way, you start to hear the cries of birds, Zartet, that you immediately realize are not birds. They're people watching the party and trying to sound like bird signs. They might fool the casual observer, but not a seasoned druid of the wilderness. So you become aware that people are shadowing you along your way. And at one point, there are brushes along the rocky side, and you hear the sound of something scampering through the bush, something that has more than two legs. just sort of moving through the bush, leaving away from you as you're moving forward. This goes on until you're at just a little bit after mid-afternoon, where the sun is starting to set far in the west. And as it's getting darker, you think that you can potentially make it all the way down to the capital of Cyrodiil, Stilt City. But by the time you get there, night will have fallen and you'll be moving through darkness. It's actually relatively difficult, even though it's a short distance, to move down the river because you just have to do so much climbing down on slippery rocks and so forth. And you're taking care and moving slowly so that you can't get ambushed. But that means that night is falling. And so you have to make a choice. Do you want to set up camp here, or do you want to try and proceed into Stilt City under darkness?
Do we hear any strange noises coming from Stilt City?
Well, so you can't see Stilt City yet. It's still probably about an hour's journey to the south by Zartet's reckoning.
And so there's a non-two-legged creature in the brush
At
that
some
we hear
point,
following us.
no, you heard something take off as you approached and scamper south in the brush. But it sounded large, and it definitely attracted the attention of Fisk the bear, who raised up his head and snuffled in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, how much further is it to Stilt City?
It's about
from
an
where we are?
hour, another hour, but by the time you get
But
there,
the
you
sun's
will do
setting.
it. The sun is setting now.
I say we just.
What is
go
the
for it.
layout of?
Okay, so right now you
Yeah.
guys are moving along the river. As this whole time you've been sort of descending, right? And the trees have been rising around you into a higher and higher canopy. The trees here are very, very tall, and there's a lot of vines interconnecting between the two of them. You're not fully into a jungle yet, but you can see how very soon you'll be getting there. The Metris River here is just about 40 feet wide. And it's shallow enough that you could wade from one side to the other. But so far, you guys have been moving along the eastern side of the river, because on the western side, it's mostly rocks and so forth. So as you move along, you're staying near the river bank so that you don't have to cut your way through all the undergrowth and so forth that leads into the forest there. There are game trails here, but nothing like a road or anything like that. When you move, if you want to go deeper into the forest, you'll have to cut your way in.
Are we just going to camp the night here and then head into the town tomorrow?
Oh no, I don't think so. I think we could probably make, I
Well,
should be able carefully to guide these guys through the ivy forest or whatever.
Well, you're a little bit
forest we're
south
in
of
right
the ivy forest now. Right
Okay.
now, what you're getting into is the Moth Eye Jungle, and that gets into Cyrodiil proper, and sort of at the Metris River forms like not a delta per se, but there's an estuary, and that's where Stilt City is built. So straight down the river as a highway, you can get to Stilt City, but soon you expect to encounter patrols at the very least, if not ambushes.
Is it a walled city?
You do not know that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Because if we go out, if we show up like after sunset and
but
their
if you
palisade or anything, their gates are going to be closed.
well, so you don't know that. Sorry, I wasn't quite done
Why?
there. But if you can talk with Zartet, he would let you know that they don't have walls because they don't need walls.
Hmm.
Do I know anyone personally in the city? I know I've kind of been in this area before. I may have been to Cyrodiil before. I wouldn't know
it's been
anyone
like
person.
such a long time. It's probably been 30 years since you've been down this way. When you were down as a very, very young man, you knew a woman, but you know that she's long since passed off at that way. and that's what you were down there for. It was a quest for Trim. So,
Okay.
but unfortunately, she's passed on many years hence, and you don't really know anybody in that area at the point. And it's probably been 30 years since you've been down there, so any number of things might have changed.
Do I know
But
her
you
name?
remember at the time when you went through as a young man that they had no fortifications and no real need of them. Just
Right.
they trusted in the ferocity of their warriors to carry them through.
But I don't recall her name because it's been so long.
You think that her name was a kind of flower, but as you search your memory, you can't remember exactly which one. 30 years is a long time,
Yeah.
but as both of us know at this point. You think it might come back to you if you stop trying to remember for a little bit.
Right. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully not that awkward.
Well, I mean, I'd say I'm feeling, kind of high on the Laughing Star right now. So I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible because I don't want any more blight to suffer this land and all that jazz.
Okay. Do you want to proceed in under the cover of
I'm
darkness?
imploring my party mates to please just let's go forth and try to make it. It'll be dark, but the sun will just have set. We'll be fine.
Okay.
Do it.
So the party proceeds forward through the darkness and into the jungle. You travel for another half hour, and the stars start to come out, and the Laughing Star shines overhead brighter than ever. The first moon is overhead. It's only a sliver, and it's vanishing rapidly. You know that soon it will be the new moon and the darkness.
It's dark, but I mean, is there a moon? We see the
Yeah,
Laughing
there's
Star's
a sliver.
light. Is
There's a
that
sliver of moon. You can proceed along the riverbank without difficulty. However, as the four of you travel along the bank, you notice that the bear stops moving Angie, and you just shout at everybody to get down. Well, not shout, but you hiss at everybody to get down, because soon a volley of arrows flies at all of you. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh no.
5. Ooh.
Return of the bullet sponge.
Yeah. All right. So, Zartet, you are walking at the forefront. So you begin to hear things whistling past you in the air. Maybe not quite arrows, maybe a little bit smaller, and that you don't hear the twanging of bowstrings. So, Logic, what's your dexterity?
It is 16.
16? Cons, what do you got?
16.
16. Angie, what's yours?
17, I think.
15.
15.
15.
And then Zarchet, what is yours?
13?
Okay.
We're a dexterous
We
bunch
are
of people.
dexterous. Yeah.
Okay. So you hear the hissing through the air and things flying every which way. But almost miraculously, nothing hits you. And you realize you see jutting out of a tree near you a little feathered dart. And you realize that people are shooting at you with blowguns. So just made out of cane.
Oh shit.
Little poison darts flying at you every which way. And all of you have been able to avoid all of them.
We just hear them whistle by.
Yeah, you just hear them whistling by right there. So each of you has a chance to act before they can manage to fire another volley. Right now, you can't see where these are coming from. They seem to be coming from all directions around you.
Does Fisk see them?
Fisk the bear was the one that stopped short and started snuffling the air. and it doesn't look like any darts have hit him. Like right now, he's just like his ears are back, and he seems highly upset.
Okay, I'm gonna
Well,
cast.
I'm back. Go ahead.
All right, Kunz, what are you gonna cast?
I'm gonna cast haste on Angie, so she's really fast and gets the 2x time multiplier.
Wow,
Okay,
nice.
You begin casting a spell. It takes a little bit to cast haste. Logic, what are you doing?
Me, I dexterously fucking hit the deck on my back, and I start cranking my crossbow.
You start cranking a crossbow. Okay, the crossbow is not loaded. You will have to crank it up to get it going on. Let's see. So, Zartet, what are you doing?
So we can hear kind of where they're coming from, and we're sure it's like people.
You feel
behind
like you
trees
were
with blowguns.
potentially surrounded. There may be people up in the trees. So actually, let's do a check real quick. What's your wisdom?
Wisdom is 14.
14. Okay. So you have been down this road before, right? You have been in many situations where you've walked into an ambush and so forth, and you know that attempting to fight in the dark is a terrible idea. Like it would be a better idea to try and get some kind of light happening and to see what's going on, or to try and call out to these people, because if you fight them in the dark, they'll just keep shooting at you, and someone will eventually
on their home turf.
Yeah, on their home turf. You are trespassers in this land, so you know that if you
What
slay one of
language
these
do they
people,
speak here?
if you wind up killing these people, they will never be your allies.
Right. I didn't plan on doing any harm to them. I think haste was fine.
Oh, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
the funny thing about haste is that in order for her to get that kind of quickness, it like takes time off her life.
Yeah, it
too,
takes a year off of your life every time you're hasted.
Thanks a lot, dude.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
it's a crazy
it's not
spell.
without a
You got
cost.
all the time in the world.
This is like the second time he's done it too, and everything. And
Oh,
yeah,
no.
you do not have to consent to haste, but the spell has not completed yet. Zartet has a chance to act before
You're
it's
like
completed.
slapping his wrist. No.
Do I know any whatever
Oh my God.
language they speak? Is it Cyrodiilian or?
They speak a form of Morian that sounds rustic and accented to your ear, but you can understand them. However, you know that within the tribe, they use a secondary language known only to them and their shaman.
Well, then I just call out like, "We come in peace."
Okay. So you attempt to call out that you come in peace, but this is no easy feat at people who are actively shouting at you or shooting at you.
I say it with authority.
You say it with authority. What is your charisma? Wise
Totally.
druid.
10.
10.
Oh, that's average, man.
So, you, a wise and touched by the gods as you may be, cannot command the authority to stop the attack, and they
It's
they
as much
continue
authority
firing.
as I can muster.
Yeah, you're a soft-spoken man, used to solitude, and you really are not the type to shout down attackers. Angie, you have a chance. To
Angie,
act.
I want to try.
You also
Do
want
I
to try
have
and shout for people, so you have a little bit more experience with yelling at people as a former officer of the king. What's your charisma, Angie?
a cop.
No.
Oh shit! It's the 5-0. Yeah. What's the
Kuntz
charisma
has
of Angie the Ranger?
I'm 12.
Okay. Unfortunately, Kuntz is busy casting a haste spell, which takes
friends
effect.
anyways.
Which takes effect just as Angie is trying to convince people. So Angie starts shouting, "Stop shooting! Stop shooting. We mean you no harm." And as she does, her voice becomes pitched up as she is hasted. Right? And just strangely, the queerness of this, the strangeness of her beginning, and then her voice pitching up, and then her movement just becoming very rapid. She's almost a blur to the eyes of the observers. This is enough to stupefy the primitive Cyrodiilians, and they're swayed by this. So you hear hooting in the trees and people calling out to each other, and they start yelling about a powerful juju, because they can see the bear at your side, and that you're moving faster than any human being possibly could, right there. So
Hell yeah.
immediately you hear calls for all of you to put down your weapons, but no further darts fly at you.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
like hands up,
All right.
can't breathe.
Okay.
Can't breathe.
All right. So
That's
all of you raise up your hands in surrender, and a man leaps down from one of the tall breaches or tall trees, and you start to see the glint of eyes all over the place. Your eyes are adjusting to the faint light, and you begin to realize that you are surrounded by almost 20 different people who are up in the trees. So one of them sort of slinks down, and you start to see that he is covered all over with tattoos. Almost every inch of his skin has been tattooed and covered with wavy lines and triangles and sharp barbs. And so he comes down to you, and he's wearing sort of like he's the top of his head is almost completely bald, but woven into his head are all kinds of colorful bird feathers. What? Are you showing him your own tattoo to be like, yo, check this one out? Like,
Yeah,
this guy
check
out,
this one out,
bro. Yeah, we should have established what tattoos logic the thief has there. So this guy moves forward towards all of you, and in a very backwards sounding Morian, says to you, like, if you do anything, you will be shot from 100 different places. I have so many men around you. Why have you come to our jungle, outlanders?
Well, I explained to this gentleman that, you know, what's coming. You know,
Okay.
I kind of in a very kind of basic way, because I know he's.
So so Zartet is trying to negotiate with him here.
Yeah.
Zartet, you're not like making a lot of headway.
Yeah, I know.
They have a difficult time understanding you. Just your like spoken ability is not fantastic here. So the rest of you can see that Zartet is struggling to make his point here. He's not the most eloquent of you. Another person could try to make their case if you would like to, or you can continue to let Zartet try to negotiate with the Cyrodiilians. Cyrodiilians, sorry.
Do I know anything about their language?
You don't know much about their language, but you could attempt to intercede and explain what's going on. Or perhaps a more charismatic member of the party might like to wade into the
I
fray.
don't think I am.
Yeah, I don't think you're
Like Kuntz.
I have 13
Kuntz is the
charisma.
most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
the
the highest.
He's the
Kuntz
face.
is your silver-tongued devil right here.
He's our Marvel
He's gonna
character.
be-
Kuntz, you want to try and wade in there?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, they seemed very impressed by your sorcery right there. So when you begin to talk, suddenly all of them start paying attention, right? And he asks you, like, why have you come here? What's going on? What do you tell him?
We've come to visit the city. I
This-
forget why.
The Stilt City? Why would you? What do you want from us? You know, we're just we're a humble people.
My friend Zartet will fill you in.
Okay.
I
Oh,
kind
is
of tell Kuntz what to say. Like, we need to see their shaman.
Okay, so the two of you,
There's something on the way. There's something coming.
Who's
That's
your
very bad.
spellcaster?
the two of you working together, relay the information about the blight that's overtaken the land, and they're so impressed with Kuntz that they start paying more attention to you, Zartet, and start to you can make inroads and tell them about what's going on, and they're very aware. The man with the feathers in his hair calls himself Rask. And Rask has seen a great deal of problems as a result of this. He tells you that they've had to kill over 100 people who have trespassed in their forest, and that their hearts are heavy at having to leave so many of them sort of strung up at the outskirts, but that outsiders cannot be allowed within their forest. And they feel bad because they see that most of these people are starving, and they say that they have seen encroachment onto the outer areas of their forest, where trees have died and animals have been twisted and so forth. But that because they stay so close to this river, this sacred river, and that they've always followed the teachings of the Sinistar, that they have been spared. They say that they are brave warriors and willing to defend their homeland unto the death. But even now, they're starting to feel the pinch of what's happening here, because the southern sea, where they do most of their fishing and so forth, has turned an unhealthy red, and many of the people who take fish from that sea become sick. And so they've taken to canoeing further and further out, trying to escape the red blight that has poisoned the waters and catch fish from further out. But it's becoming more difficult there. So he tells you of all of his troubles.
Have any of your people caught this blight?
They say that anybody who shows signs of the change is burned alive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Burned alive.
That's how they do. And they
crazy.
say
Serious
that by this
business.
way they have stayed pure, but they've lost many, and the tribe is severely depleted, and they know that things can't go on this way for long. And they ask you why you've come, and if you bring any news of an end to the madness.
Can we tell them about the good berries?
We hold off on the good berries just yet.
you can if
Shouldn't
you
these
want.
people shouldn't jungle people know about good berries?
So good berries
Or at
are
least some-
a very
Are
druidic
magic.
thing. Yeah, good
Oh,
berries
okay.
are a very druidic thing. These people are fairly backward for the most part. They're led by a shaman, so the shaman may have some kind of something that he can bring to bear there, but it's uncertain. You don't know a lot about it.
As a druid, Zartet, is there like a quick recipe you could teach them from nearby
Yeah, I
resources?
could probably, show them how I do it and see.
Well, it's not something that you can just you are sworn to secrecy in the druidic knowledge that you have here. And
Alright.
the other part of it is it's not just something you can just tell somebody. It comes from a deep spiritual understanding and a connection with the land. And so
Well, I
Maybe
more
we
just
could make
meant
them a supply.
they could witness me
Mhm.
make these good berries. I don't have to give them my secrets, but I could show them like a before and after.
you absolutely could if you'd like to.
And give them
Something
a
they
supply.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But we're still outside the gates talking to this
You're not
tattooed
you're not
warrior.
even at the gates yet. So
I know they don't
he's
have
asking you
gates,
questions about what's happening on the outside. And if you want to, you can tell him everything you've learned about the Darameus and the source of the corruption and so forth. You can also ask him if you can go to the town. You could tell him anything that you would like to at this point, because he seems so enamored.
How far out do?
What did you ask, Elijah?
I was wanting to know how far out like their scouts go in outside of their town, outside of their forest, if at all.
Okay, they say that they have been sending scouts east for a long time, and none of those scouts return. So eventually, they had to stop sending them. They said that they've sent canoes as far west as West Moria, and that the West Morians
Canadians?
say that again.
Never mind.
Okay, They send their outrunner canoes as far west as West Moria, and that the West Morians have largely been unaffected so far, but they're seeing a lot of invaders and trespassers in their land. And you get the idea that the Cyrodiilians are not especially fond of the West Morians, and that there has been some kind of war between the two tribes for quite a period of time. After a while of talking, they ask if he would like to come and talk to their chief.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your kindness.
Yeah. So they bring the lot of you closer to the town, and Angie, you notice Fisk the bear becoming increasingly uneasy because you start to hear the presence of crocodiles, and these are not your ordinary crocodiles. They have been bred over the centuries for riding, and they're larger than normal crocodiles. They have longer legs, and they scamper at a very swift pace. So as
I
you're
want to pet him.
Say that
and
again?
reassure him.
okay,
I want to pet him.
yeah, he Fisk the bear looks like he's thinking about taking a bite out of one of these big old riding crocodiles.
I'm like,
He's
no, no,
an
no.
ornery bear.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, you think that there's a good chance that he would be a match for at least one of these crocodiles, but probably not two or three.
Are these
Oh,
very
nice.
large crocodiles?
They're quite large. They're large enough for a full-grown man to ride on top of them. And these guys, they seem like they make wooden armor out of weave and rattan. And they look they actually look like strangely stylistic. They like to decorate their hair with feathers, and they wear this woven armor and carry long spears. And it seems like everybody carries a little short pipe at their side and a pouch full of darts. So this is how they do their battle.
Probably poisonous.
Yeah, they're most definitely poisonous. I think these are quite lucky that nobody got zapped on the way there.
Yeah,
And it's a big part of why you were able
Mhm.
to win them over to your side. They were just like, how did we not hit them? It's very uncommon for an ambush to hit nothing, but it might be that you're touched by the gods. So all of you are led deeper into Stilt City, and you see that the houses here are built in the estuary of the river, over the mud, and everything is built up on stilts, and people have rope ladders in between their different houses and so forth, and there are big communal platforms where people gather and set up fires on stone pillars that rise from above. And the town, it's just strange to see so many people moving around and being together and talking after so many days where you've only come across huddled refugees and so forth. And it seems like something about drinking the water from this river, which flows from the spring, has largely spared these people. But just the same, as you're entering their town, sort of on the left-hand side, deeper into the thing, you see a large, what looks like the remains of a large bonfire. And as you're passing by it, you can see human bones inside of it. So maybe not quite everybody was so lucky. So the four of you are taken to a large cane hut with a thatched roof made from leaves, and told that you will be taken to see Wabigo, the chief.
Wabigo.
Yeah. But as they're sending you in, they said they give you various warnings about how you must address Wabigo, always as Wabigo the Great, and that you must show deference to him, or he will smite you. And that his curses are powerful and everlasting, and that all who cross the Great Wabigo rue their day. So
Sounds very Hawaiian.
the other part of it is that you come to a point where Fisk the bear must remain behind. He is too big to climb across the rope bridges and platforms of Stilt City and so forth. And the crocodiles don't seem to like Fisk any more than Fisk likes the crocodiles. So you come to
Can
a
I
point
stay with them?
you can stay with the bear, and you don't think that you could tether him up and so forth. So Angie, you may have to stay behind
Yes.
and keep watch as he
Oh, the bear's flying. Holy shit.
he's relegated to the background. All right, so yeah, he's when you talk with Wabigo, you must do it without the benefit of Angie the Ranger, who has to stay behind with her new companion.
It's fine. I'm uncharismatic, so whatever.
So entering the hut of Wabigo, immediately a large drum is just banged, startling all of you. And you see the herald of Wabigo begin to dance and tell the many tales of the greatest shaman who has ever walked the Ark right there. They talk about how he initially tamed the sea by making love to it for so long that the sea became exhausted, and that ever after the sea lied flat on the earth because it was too tired to ever get up again.
Wow, that's a great...
Yeah. They say that Wabigo was the one who put the mountains in their place so he would have a place to hang his hat. And they say that the first woman came from the stone in a pimple squeezed from Wabigo's cheek, and she has troubled everyone ever since. And, these are the great Wabigo. And so you look at Wabigo.
Love Wabigo.
Yeah. And he seems to be a small and shrunken man with skin as brown as a nut, with big wrinkles around his eyes that come from laughing, and wrinkles at the sides of his mouth that always suggest a grin. And he has a big pot belly. And surrounding him are a number of some of what are the fattest concubines that you've ever seen. These are all very large women. And there are 4 of them that seem to surround him and attend to his every need.
We are in a way.
Yeah. But so anyhow, as you approach, Wabigo is lifted to his feet by his 4 massive concubines, and he strolls over to you, all smiles. And he makes a gesturing motion with his hands, and each of you is brought a cane, and it's presented in front of you. It's filled with a strong-smelling liquor. You think it's some kind of rum.
I hold mine up in a
Bottoms
toast.
up.
Yeah. Wabigo bids you to drink, and he has brought a big cane chalice that is easily like 3 or 4 times the size of any of yours, and he tilts his back and drains the entire thing. And then the aides that are with him bid you to drink after Wabigo. Do you drink what is in these canes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. The liquor that you drink is some of the most potent rum that you've ever tasted. It burns going down hardcore. So the 3 of you take a healthy swig of rum. And
I do like a constitution check or a pull of the deck to see if I could keep my reaction down.
Your reaction to so you want to try and show no sign that the liquor phases you? Yes, you can. What is your constitution?
13.
13? So you try you try so hard to show no sign, but then your nose starts itching, and you sort of sneeze and cough at the same time, and all the concubines start to laugh at you. And Wabigo, just his teeth are so white you can't believe it. They're the whitest teeth that you've ever seen, and he shows all of them as he laughs at you.
Nice.
And then, did anybody
All
else?
right. Well, I kind of laugh at myself then.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have
I'm
to laugh that
laughing.
one off. So he comes forward to you, and he says, "I had a dream about a star in the north, and I looked up at the star, and she winked at me,
Mm.
and I don't know what to make of that dream, and I think that the star was telling me that the three of you were going to come, and then I would get to laugh at you. So thank you for coming to the town of Silt City. I am Wabigo the Great, and you are welcome here. Tell me, why have you come?"
Well met. It's good to laugh. Laugh under the shining light of the laughing star.
When you say the laughing star, Wabigo lifts up his head and becomes very interested in what you have to say.
And yeah, so I just go on to like introduce everybody, or at least who's in the hut. I think Angie's outside. I tell him, the bear, Fisk.
Mhm.
I tell him that's his name.
Oh, yeah, he has.
And
Okay.
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, and that's pretty much it. I'm explaining to him kind of what we know,
So
why we're here.
Wabigo repeats a similar tale to what his advanced scout has told you. I believe it was Rask. So it's very similar. He tells you that his warriors are very strong, the strongest warriors of all time, but they fight against a sickness that they cannot see. And he says that sadly, he has had to send many of his warriors to the great fire of the beyond, so that they can become cleansed and serve Wabigo in the afterlife. He says that once he had 300 powerful warriors, crocodile riders, that could, each of them, the equal of 5 Westmorians. But now that he is reduced to a mere 75, and not all of them are fit for
That's a
battle.
lot.
And he says, when I go to review my troops, I can count each rib along them, because the oceans give no fish, and we go to the places where we would gather berries, and everything is rank and vile and covered with corruption. And he says that in the night, demons swoop down and try to carry off our women and have their way with them, and we must fight them back. And he shows a scar along his shoulder, and says that this is where he personally wrestled with a demon and fought it back to save his concubines. And they all clap for him there. And when you look at his shoulder, there really is a scar along his bicep, like a 3-taloned scar there. And you see that it is healed unevenly, Zartet, almost as if some taint remains behind. But you see no sign that Wabigo has been twisted by the plague, or that anybody in Stilt City has been twisted. So he says, "Friends, what have you come to Wabigo for? What can I do for you?" As you see, he said, "Normally I would throw you a great feast, and we would celebrate, but these are troubled times, and we don't have enough food to go around. I apologize for this, but you can stay in our village for one night, and we will feed you. But after that, you must go."
This guy's the big wig, right?
Yeah,
He makes all
Wabigo is
the
the greatest
decisions.
of all. Yeah.
Yeah, he fucked the ocean.
To sleep.
Yeah.
Fucked it to sleep.
Well, I pull out the silver seed and I show him.
Okay.
I'm like,
When you produce the silver seed, Wabigo gasps and immediately bows down before the seed. This is something that he recognizes immediately. And he lifts his head up and tells you that you have been chosen. So there's something to this guy. He's not just all bullshit, because immediately he tells you that he dreamed of this, that this was the laughing star winking, and this is the tear that has fallen from the winking eye, and he asks how he can help you. He, like, obviously he believes in your quest and in you.
Yeah, I mean, getting Wabigo to bow down, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he asks what you will do with the tear, and he says that it is a sign of the greatest favor of the laughing star, and that it is a sign of sacrifice.
I explain. Well, I tell him that, or have I already explained to him the Darameus piece?
He is unaware of the Darameus, the issue with the Darameus. Their
Oh,
warriors,
that's
their
what's
warriors
wrong.
generally do not go to the east. So as you explain it to them, as you explain the issue with the Darameus, and that nothing can get by, a great number of things make sense to him, and he's like, he realizes that this is why so many starving people have come to his lands and met their unfortunate end at the point of a blow dart, and he says that this must be why the red wind blows from the east, and he looks at the silver tear that you have in your hand, and he says, you hold one tear, but what you don't realize is that tear is just the beginning, and that 1,000,000 tears will flow from this one tear.
That is a sacrifice that must be made. It's one the Laughing Star wants us to make. But there will be life on this land once again.
I can't get over the cat attacking the fish.
It's moving.
It's amazing.
My mom bought that for her.
Oh,
her
that's
favorite toy.
amazing. Oh,
That's
all
really
right.
cool.
So please, Zartek, continue.
There she goes.
Yeah, once where there was 1,000,000 tears, there will be 1,000,000 smiles instead.
Good one,
Oh,
bro.
wow. All right. Well, he seems deeply moved by your platitude, and a tear comes to the eye of Wabigo, perhaps the first of 1,000,000. So 99,999 to go. So touched by the revelation, Wabigo just rises up and rushes out of his hut, right? And all of you are left wandering around, and even the concubines seem mystified. The herald of Wabigo follows after, but he has no need for a herald. He rushes out to the tallest platform in Stilt City, and with a booming voice that seems to fill the night, shouts, I need warriors. Who is brave enough to accompany these travelers, touched by the Laughing Star, to the east to put an end to the corruption that is blighting our land? And at first, nobody rushes to jump into this right here. You see men sort of fading behind huts, trying to get away from it. And it's actually a young man. He looks like he might only be maybe 15 or 16 years old, but he stands up and raises up his cane spear and says, I am Jayan the Rider. I will go to fight.
Jayan the Rider.
Jayan. And he pronounces it Jyan. So Jayan the Rider says, I will go to fight. And when Jayan the Rider says that he will go to fight, some of the older men feel shamed that a young boy has offered to fight, and they were kind of slinking into the periphery, and they raise up their spears and offer to go fight. And Big Rock, the Croc, offers to come, and then all of his people offer to come with him. And before the night is over, fully 20 crocodile riders have offered to come with you and escort you
Wow.
to the Darameus to try and set the land to right.
Damn. Well, I was literally just thinking, like, if we could convince one person to come with us,
So
20 will do.
yeah, it's like a full platoon of crocodile riders have agreed to accompany you to the lands in the east and try to make it across the Darameus.
Hell
Cool.
yeah.
All right.
How are we
So,
gonna feed these guys?
Yeah, well, that's another question
Well, they can
that
feed
you'll have to
themselves.
worry
They've been
about right
living
there.
off the land for their
Okay.
whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Logistics.
when we traverse the blighted land, maybe not so much.
So, Wabigo seems overcome with generosity and proposes a night of feasting for everybody to see the brave warriors away. And he says that he will also give you a gift of the fleetest rowers anywhere on the Ark. And you come to understand that he will send a convoy of canoes with crocodiles swimming beside, and all of you will head along the Shattered Bay, and they will guide you to the foot of the Darameus if you so choose.
Wait, on boats?
On boats.
Will Fisk fit?
So this is a tough
Sure,
one.
they have a raft.
Yeah, you would
Yeah,
have
they
to you'll
should.
have to like you'll have to come up with some kind of a raft to tow the bear and convince the bear to get on said raft.
But
But
follow us from the
Well, or
so
if they're-
and so like as you're talking about the bear, the warriors seem leery because they can tell that their crocodiles are not too thrilled about this bear. But as soon as Wabigo sets eyes on the bear, he is enchanted by the silver stripe, and he says that it's a sign of favor from the Laughing Star, and he immediately demands that a tankard of rum be given to the bear, and they bring
Wow.
over a big tankard
Oh,
of rum.
fuck.
And so Wabigo goes and tries to have a drink with the bear. Let's see how successful Wabigo is.
I love Wabigo.
So,
Wabigo rules.
Yeah.
Wabigo is actually able to gain the trust of the bear, and the two of them set about getting tore up over the course of the night while the great feast is going on for the warriors. In fact, he just becomes drunk out of his mind, and the bear drinks him under the table, and he is left snoring. But Fisk the bear is also quite affected by
Drunk.
Yeah, the bear is tore up, and later in the night you can hear the sounds of mighty retching as the bear stumbles from place to place, intoxicated beyond all bounds. So
yeah.
you've gained powerful allies, and as you wake up the next morning with pounding headaches, you nonetheless are excited to set off for the next thing. So by making new allies and by impressing Wabigo, the Tamer of Seas, all of you have earned another third of the experience to the next level. So you are 1/3 away from, I believe, level 7 right here. You have gained the fellowship of 20 of the fiercest crocodile riders of Siradil, and you have also found passage to the Darameus. So well done.
Yeah, this is great.
adventure. Yeah, well done, everybody. And this concludes our adventuring proceedings for this evening. Well done. And thanks to anybody that tuned in and watched IRC D&D episode number 11. Penis Bomb.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Aloha.
Thanks, everyone.
Adios. And once again, that was Angie, Kuntz, Logic, and Zartet. The dogs in the background are Mila, that you can see sleeping over there, and Puppy, and Kuntz's cat Glitch that defeated that fearsome fish. All right, so good night.